Francesco Rulli. I'm the CEO of Querlo. I'm here with Sabia Mitra for the next 10 minutes. We're going to speak about the impact of HR in the world of artificial intelligence in the world of HR, especially during this emergency. So Sabia, share a little bit about your background and what are your thoughts about the use of artificial intelligence at this time.
This is Sabia Mitra, CEO of Renew HR. I've been in HR domain for the last 20 years, specializes in SuccessFactors for the small and mid-sized companies. Francesco, that's a very interesting question. In fact, as we are going through the COVID-19, but I would step back a little bit. We have seen, Katrina, we see every other year in the Northeast that we have this problem of communicating with the employees when there is snowstorms and natural disasters. They are very similar in nature in terms of the challenges that HR faces. I think the biggest challenge is how quickly and in a uniform manner can you pass on the information to the employees. Everybody's stuck in different places. They are looking for company policy. What are the things that company are doing for their employees? What are their next steps? So the challenge that HR faces in today's time, and I was part of a utility company when this thing happened in Northeast a few years back, and I've personally seen that how these war rooms are created and how people operate on that. And the biggest challenge that I've seen is how to communicate to a large number of people with different kind of skill sets in terms of technology and other things, and communicate with them very, very decisively and in a quick period of time. So that's where I feel, Francesco, AI-based technology, and then it's a machine learning and everything included. So it is learning from the last disaster and also improving itself going forward when the next one happens. That means you are much more prepared with the questions that the employee asked, the communication that you shared, and you know that what is the success rate. And with your analytics, we also know that how successful we were last time, what are the areas that we need to improve upon this time.
The company, we have been building artificial intelligence solutions, chatbots and digital assistants for 5 years now. And we have seen that HR is at the center of the crisis in terms of the opportunity to resolve the problem and also be the point of reference, almost like the lighthouse in the middle of the sea. But employees, once they reach out to HR for information, if they can't obtain the information they need, then they feel lost. And there's also a strong impact on mental health in terms of who are you, what are the point of references, what are the informations that the company can provide in terms of not just about safety, but also about what the future lies ahead. And the conversational artificial intelligence is aimed to establish this conversation, but also to provide back to the company business intelligence about the sentiment of the employees and where we are heading as a company together, so that we can challenge together, we can face this challenge together and surpass these moments of uncertainty. So go ahead.
Yeah. One thing that, Francesco, I would like to add to what we both already mentioned, that at one point when the disaster happens, the response time should be shorter. So just imagine at the same time when you receive 20 emails, phone calls on a normal day, yes. in case of a COVID or in case of Katrina and any other disaster, you are having 20, 30, 40 times more calls or email messages or messages coming to HR at the same time. However prepared you are, without a technology, it becomes impossible to pass on the messages that the information that you want to share with the employees in a consistent basis and in a quick manner, because you don't want employees to wait for hours to get their question.
Let me share a second on my screen. I want to just share very fast one of the solutions we have built. Specifically, this is the digital assistant that we have built as a single sign-on, in which allows employees to access many types of information, including, for example, what is my insurance policy? And simply type in this request to a chatbot that mimic the same conversation approach of a WhatsApp messaging. Indeed, we are also compatible with WhatsApp, Slack, all different platforms, or as we are doing together, integrating within SuccessFactors, then allows us just clicking on one of those options to access the policies. I will that are hosted in this case on SharePoint. This is just an example. So it's not a real policy, but basically you access the document, you can download the document, you can browse the document, and you work on the document itself, okay? So this is an example of how we implement the immediate access to policies, as well as the communication back to the headquarters if the documentation, the information provided are what the employees expected. Because if the employee reports, this is not what I wanted to access, for example, I didn't find what I was searching for, then this information is reported back to HR, in which can actually evaluate if their policies are correct. On the other side, HR and other executives within the company, they have a full perspective of the usage time, the total sessions, the time per session, so the average session, or the breakdown by country or region or dates of the access of the information on this platform. So as you say, it is very, very important to be timely in providing answers. It's also very, very important to learn. That's what we call a knowledge-based management, in which allow basically HR to learn of the behavior of the employees. Usually those platforms save between 12 and 25% of the time consumed usually on communications. And that's when we advise our customers to use this time to improve policies, to improve the mechanics of how HR communicate and the quality of the content or the information provided to the employees, okay? All right, so we are almost at the end of our 10 minutes. Let me know what are your thoughts about the implementation. We have 3 minutes to go about the implementation of the solutions based on your experience with your clients.
What you have shown, this is exactly what would be needed in different situations, but particularly for a crisis situation. I think this information is very handy. Not only that it solves the purpose, but it also talks about how to improve this thing when next time such similar kind of thing happens. And it also helps. One of the things that I've noticed that how to staff the war rooms, how many people do you need, how do you plan for this? This kind of analytics at the end of question that you can expect. So you implement that, keeping in mind that there would be systems in place, there would be policies in place, and there would be the immediate things that you have created for that particular disaster. How do you combine all of these things so that employee only goes to one place, that is the digital assistant, puts his question just like what you did, and rest of the things are given to him or her right there, right then. So the implementation aspect, when we look at the implementation, we should learn from our mistakes, what has happened in the past. Also, we try to see that the advanced technology, how it can help the employee address the questions that they have. And if they are not able to address that, at least HR should know the kind of questions that the employees are asking so that they should be better prepared.
Fantastic. Thank you very much, Sabio. Very appreciated.
Thanks, Francesco.